Ice-T is here with me. You'll be with me for at least another segment, right, Ice?
I can stick around, yeah.
Wait, did you just say thick around? Like Alan Thicke?
You know I have a list, man.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
What is this, kindergarten again? Thanks a lot.
That is one thing the listeners do not know, is that we went to kindergarten together.
That is true.
That's why you're constantly on the show.
Yeah, because we're old buddies from kindergarten.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let me introduce another old buddy from kindergarten.
We all went to kindergarten together.
That's right.
He's here. He's the biggest star, perhaps, to ever do the show. Perhaps.
Really?
I feel
Weird
bad.
Al I feel bad that that's me.
Can I say thanks a lot again?
So sorry, Ice-T.
Don't diss Ice.
I don't know how many careers I got to have before I'm a big deal.
How many times
Scott
have you been
Aukerman.
dissed?
Probably, I think it's in the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That little.
Yeah.
But that's part of your world, right? You get dissed, and then you diss somebody back, and
You know, yeah, you get
Right?
it. You
Right,
get it.
yeah.
Ben
Oh, wait,
Stiller
I
gets it.
didn't introduce you. It's
It
Ben
doesn't.
Stiller.
Oh,
Thank
hey.
you so much for coming.
I'm very happy to be here.
Ben, thank you so much. I know that you have a very busy schedule. Thank you so much for
I'm
fitting
happy.
this in.
I'm happy to wedge in here. I'm iceberg wedging in.
Now,
wonderful.
I had a
Now, hold on a second.
yes.
That's a perfect rap name for you.
Wait a minute.
Iceberg wedge.
Iceberg.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Or Iceberg Wedge. Yeah. You start out as Iceberg Wedge, and then it just naturally gets shortened to Iceberg.
Yeah.
Because
There
it
you
lets
go.
people know that you're Jewish
That's
because
right.
of the berg.
Well, yeah, the berg. The wedge is kind of Jewish sounding too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not cool sounding.
Unless
then-
you count Wedge Antilles from Star Wars.
I have to say, iceberg is kind of cool.
That's not bad.
That is-
Would
has
it
a
be
lot of meaning.
hyphenated
Yeah,
after the ice?
I don't know.
Like Ice-T is? I don't
kinda.
know. So I have a very typical, or at least I used to last year, I have a very typical first question, which I retired because it made everyone uncomfortable. But I thought I'd bring it back for you,
Okay.
which is basically, how much money do you make?
On
And
this
wh-
show?
No, when I say
On this
that,
show,
I mean,
the negotiations were very they were rough. That's the reason I only agreed to 15 minutes.
when I say this, I
I'm
mean,
getting $1 million a minute to be here.
Really?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like a labor of love for you.
Definitely.
and that's
This is
coming
a-
from Ice-T, I believe.
You're taking like a Magnolia Tom Cruise pay cut.
exactly,
to,
but it's a smart move
Sure.
because it's there's a hip factor.
Now it is. Your movie comes out today, Greenberg.
Yes, yeah.
It comes out wide, whatever that means.
That's very exciting. Yeah, the movie came out a bit wider than we thought.
really,
Yeah. We were expecting it to be a little bit less wide.
really. How wide
But-
did you think it was going to be originally?
We thought it was going to be about 16 inches, and it came out about 38 inches.
That is a wide
yeah,
diameter.
It's very wide. A little
Oh, so
painful.
You're talking literally the size of the film.
The film itself, yes, a
It's on-
38-inch.
it's on 16 millimeter?
We shot on a 38-inch stock. Okay, it's actually 172 millimeter.
What?
No, it's actually 1,500 millimeter. That's what 38 inches.
This
I
is
don't-
real inside baseball.
Let me ask another question that I like to ask all the stars who come on the
Yes.
show. How many reels is the picture?
You know what? The picture's running about 9 reels right
Nine,
now. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Seems to be about 2 hours. And
It's a little under 2 hours. I think it's Baumbach's shortest film. Noah Baumbach's shortest film.
wow.
Or maybe it's his longest. It might be his longest.
wow. It's
Boy,
either
again,
the longest
or the
shortest
shortest.
or the one in between.
Yeah, the widest. It's his
This is
widest.
his third film, right?
No, because he made a couple movies back in the night. He made Kicking and Screaming.
Oh, I didn't. I love that movie.
He
That was
made
great.
Mr. Jealousy with Eric Stoltz.
I remember that, too.
And then he sort of, rebooted as Indie Auteur.
Oh wow, that's so fast! I didn't know that
Yeah.
about it. I guess I saw those movies, but didn't know that was
Yes,
him. And then
yeah.
the Squid and the Whale was the first thing I saw.
That's right. That was his sort of.
That
coming
film
out.
was like disturbing, but in a good way. You know what I mean?
Did
like
you connect with it?
I think I did. It stirred some feelings in me. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but then I was glad I saw it.
Well, you have some father issues yourself, Ice-T.
Yeah.
What is your father's rap name again?
I beg, will you repeat that question?
What is your father's rap name, Ice-T? We've talked about this back in kindergarten. He used to pick you up,
His rap name is Earl Grey. So he was
Earl Grey.
and then you just thought, "Hey, I'm going to add the ice
in
to
a
it."
gesture of defiance, I was like, I'm going the other way.
That's much more summery. Well, he's a little bit more British breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it fits his character. He's very reserved.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Very
like,
stern upbringing. I remember.
yeah.
Is he? Does he actually have a title? It's the Earl?
He's a baron.
He's a baron.
I don't know why he went with Earl. I guess because of the T.
Yeah, you would think that if he were an earl,
Yeah.
an actual earl, he would go with Earl.
We've had this discussion.
You and I.
countless times. Yes, you and I have discussed this.
He could be Baron Earl Grey T. right?
It's kind of confusing, I
Or
guess.
then the shorter version would be Burl Grey. too.
Yeah.
Man, that's the perfect solution.
Burl
We're
T.
making progress here.
There you
Ben,
go.
you should have been on the show earlier.
I'm going to bring that up to my father, and
Yeah.
maybe that will prompt a deathbed reconciliation.
Wait, is he on his deathbed now?
Probably. I don't know. Look, I don't keep tabs on the guy 24/7, you know what I'm saying?
So he quite possibly could be on his deathbed.
Yeah, he could be at the supermarket. I don't know.
Does he acknowledge your success? Do you have guys have a...
He does in like the most backhanded way.
Right,
It's
right.
always like,
That's hard.
hey, you know who I love is that Richard Belzer. I think he's great on that show. I'm
Right.
like, anybody else you like on that show, Dad? And he's like, yeah, Mariska Hargitay. And I'm like, Dad, can you think of anybody else on Law and Order SVU that you enjoy? And he's like, who plays the DA? And that's usually when I leave the room.
Wow.
And leave him to his football.
He's
That's
a big,
tough.
big
That's-
football
those,
fan,
those,
huh?
Those relationships are hard.
That's the thing. He's not even that big a football fan. He's just doing it to spite me.
Because he knows you hate it so much.
I can't stand football on television. That constant noise, just like the noise of the crowd, drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
it-
person is really, really loud. Too.
Sometimes they should, like, you think it would ever be popular if they didn't have a crowd at football games? They just filmed them without a crowd, without any noise at all? I mean, it's a lot like doing single camera sitcoms, you know? Wait a minute, we may be onto something here.
Wow.
Are you proposing a single camera football sitcom?
Yes, of course I am.
I think there's about 6 people who would know what you're talking about right now.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Or
So-
yeah, you're right. People know all the back room stuff now, don't they?
So tell us about Greenberg. How did you
Yes.
get involved with it? Did you see Squid and the Whale and say, hey, I want to work with you?
Yeah, I was I love Noah's movies, and he just called me up. He called me up, and he had a script, and I feel like he's one of those filmmakers that if they give you a call, you just show up. Mm-hmm. And I don't get calls like that often. So I sat down. The one. It's about a guy who's sort of basically hasn't amounted to much in his life. When he was in his early 20s, he was in a band, and he was pretty idealistic, and then the band didn't really take off, and they had a chance to have a record deal, and he turned it down, and sort of that was his one moment. And he's been living sort of his life sort of, in denial of that and kind of trying to go forward. It's just about, he's dealing with issues, and he comes out to L.A. to house sit for his brother. And it's kind of a love story, and it reminds me a lot of those 70s L.A. movies, kind of Altman-esque thing going on, or Hal Ashby vibe.
A lot of overlapping dialogue.
I was just going to ask that.
You and I, once again, on the same page.
Not a lot of there is the interesting thing in Noah's movies is he writes the script and you don't change anything. There's no improvisation.
Really?
But he writes the way that people talk, so like people do overlap, but it's all written out. It's pretty
That's
interesting.
interesting. It's sort of like
Yeah.
Mamet in that way of like he wants it precisely.
Yeah, and which is actually great. It's great because you don't really ever. I haven't done that.
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
movie.
I noticed like the Squid and the Whale has a lot of really short scenes. Like it seems like every scene is maybe like 60 seconds long.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then in his the next movie with Jack, was it,
Margot at the Wedding.
Margot at the Wedding.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Muriel at the Wedding.
You're thinking of Muriel's Wedding, of course.
No, I actually wasn't.
Well, there was a
Strangely
movie called Muriel's Wedding.
Never heard of it.
Come on, Scott. You're being
But
deliberately
I think
obtuse.
if there was literally like there were Muriel's Wedding and Margot at the Wedding are polar opposite films in terms of
they are.
the joie de vivre.
But it seemed like that he had actually a little longer scenes.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He's not afraid to allow space for people to just be on screen, and he's a really funny guy. I mean, he's got an amazing sense of humor and and a very unique sensibility, and like he loves SCTV, and he's got just a real comedy background. But he's kind of chosen, I think, to make films that are a little bit different, and he loves European movies, and he showed me these movies by Eric Romer. Who actually just died. It's this French filmmaker.
Oh, I'm
made
sorry.
movies in the, yeah, it's okay. We weren't that close, and he was 98, I think. But
So you
anyway,
saw it coming.
But I don't think it was a big surprise. But he was a brilliant filmmaker, and he made these low budget films in the 70s, relationship movies, and they had hardly any money, and they have this vibe to them of the place. They're in south of France, different places. So
that's
really
what he was
interested-
trying to sort of get going with.
Well,
this
the
movie?
original script was in French.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
He speaks French,
No.
or he just put it through Google
No.
Translator.
Exactly. And then he expected us to learn French, and that was sort of a deal breaker for me.
I use Babelfish.
Babelfish.
Yeah.
I haven't.
That's a translation site that I enjoy. Yeah,
Really?
Based on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
It's
translator.
yeah. I hope they never got sued by the Douglas Adams estate.
Oh my gosh!
But,
I just use a universal translator from Star Trek.
from
Yes.
They're not real, right?
Wait,
No,
hold
no,
on a
they
second.
exist.
Are you in that upper echelon of stars that guess things like that don't exist to the?
That's right. Have them made for us. They send us the prototypes.
I guess I got my answer. I am not the biggest star that's been on this show.
Mickey Rooney told me that he drove the first prototype of the Lincoln Continental delivered to him on the set of Captain's Courageous by Henry Ford himself.
Really?
Yes, in 1937 or something.
But he suffers episodes, so who knows if that was true or not.
He also claims that Mickey Mouse was named after him. Now, this is according to him. He says that Walt Disney said, "Hey, Mickey, I'm working on a character named Mortimer Mouse, which is Mickey Mouse's original name."
Right.
And then Mickey said,
"No,
yeah,
call him Mickey."
Yeah, call him Mickey. And that's.
Did Walt Disney also say, one of the characteristics of this mouth is he's a liar? He lies all the time. Maybe I should name him after you. You liar.
We weren't there. We don't know.
Why are you hanging
That's
out
a
with
fair
Mickey?
point.
Why are you hanging out with Mickey
Nobody's there
Rooney?
to corroborate or to.
When are you hanging out with Mickey Rooney enough to hear two stories?
I've worked with Rooney.
Where'd you work with Rooney on?
At the museum.
Oh,
we worked
that's
together.
right, that's
yeah.
right, that's right.
Yeah, we've enjoyed some time together on the
Oh, my
set.
gosh.
And we remained friends.
Was he in 1 and 2?
He was in one.
Just
he was in one. But and we stay in touch, and he writes poetry, and he's amazing. The guy has had an amazing career.
And an amazing personal life.
Yeah, he was
Bob
the number
Odenkirk-
one star in the world in 1934 or something.
That's
right. People
for
love
3
him.
years. Yeah, and he plays the drums, and he dances. Well,
Bob Odenkirk was telling me that he was on Conan once talking, and Conan brought up that 3 of his wives or something have been murdered, and he kind of scoffed at it. He just went, "Murdered," and then made a fart noise.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Ice.
Where was Conan going with that?
No,
It's a hell of a question to ask a guest on your show.
So, man, have you ever had any wives that have been murdered at all?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I am aware of. Yeah, I try to keep it
Like
clean.
Mickey Rooney has some sort of Bluebeard.
Well, he was married. He was married to Ava Gardner.
Oh, that's right, just like
you gotta
Frank.
give him credit for that.
That is
yeah.
Was he
inexplicably
married
true.
to Ava before Frank or after Frank?
I don't know, and I'm gonna guess before.
I'm gonna second that. I believe it was before.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone has any guesses, please submit them to Comedy Death Ray. And we'll figure this out by next week.
Anybody cares?
So is Greenberg a comedy? You keep saying that it's sort of like the relationship comedies, or
Yeah.
is it
I don't know.
a
I think-
dramedy, a thrillamedy like Arachnophobia was?
What was that? A thrillamedy?
Yeah,
It was
it's a
the first thrillamedy,
they?
Arachnophobia.
Is that how they marketed it?
That's
Really?
right. It was on the poster.
Really, a thrillamedy.
And they did have the hubris of saying it was the first, as if there was going to be many to follow.
You guys are joking, right?
No, this
They
is
really put thrillamedy.
serious as a heart
Oh,
attack.
Well, there you go. Wow.
Serious as Ice-T's father's heart attack.
This is not a thrillamedy. I'd say it's
No thrills or no comedy?
Well, there's some thrills. There's definitely some
Really?
thrills. Yeah. I mean, it's more like a ride. I'd say it's more like a. It's like
Wait, are there also chills?
there are thrills and chills.
Wait, what about
But I got a follow up. Hold on,
okay.
hold on, Scott.
It may be my own follow-up.
Are there also spills?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
it.
there you go. Thrills, chills, and spills.
You do some pratfalls in the movie?
No, there's no pratfalls. There's, it's a pretty. It's I don't know how you categorize it. Noah, I think, makes movies about complicated, real people, and there's humor within that. And like I said, he has a great sense of humor. So there's stuff that I think is really funny in the movie, and there's definitely laughs in it, but it's not a comedy for sure.
It's like a grown up comedy.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it
it's
sort
like-
of based on? It seemed to me like when I saw The Squid and the Whale, it was like almost. It was so personal that it almost could have been like his life story. Do you get any sense of that, or is it purely fiction?
No, I think he was thinking. I think he had a few people that he was sort of basing on. I think any time anybody goes out and makes a movie as an actor, director, writer, there's going to be a part of yourself in there. But he, that's just. I think that's necessary.
Yeah.
But I think he was just. I think he had an idea of somebody that he was a very specific type of guy. The guy who's really able to sort of criticize other people. And a guy who's probably like too smart of his own good, able to criticize other people, see what's wrong with the world,
But
has-
unable-
and a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and sort of vents it all out. Writes letters to like American Airlines and or to Mayor Bloomberg about what's wrong with the traffic noise in the city. But then when it comes to himself and being able to actually see himself, it's harder. But he does have empathy for the characters, and I think what's interesting is like he showed a guy who has a lot of issues, but he really cares about the characters, and he meets this young girl, who's an assistant to his brother, working for his brother in L.A. that Greta Gerwig plays, and it's sort of like this, unlikely love story. I think is what it ended up being, which was interesting because it could have gone a few different ways.
Do you get to make out with someone in the movie?
I do.
How was that? Tell us about that.
You know what? It was exciting. It was really exciting. Because
God, I'm just praying for the day when I get cast as the lead in a movie and I can make out with someone other than my wife.
That's why I took the film, to tell you the truth.
Do you get to cast it?
We had serious auditions, and that was part of it.
So
no, I mean, but yes.
So that opens today. Everyone can see it, and if you're listening to this on a day that is not Friday that we're doing the show, it already opened. So you can go out.
It did. It opened up.
Yeah, if you're listening via podcast, maybe on a Saturday, maybe a Sunday.
Sure.
I'm not going to go past the weekend. Like, you get where I'm headed with this.
Sure,
it's going to happen sometime during the weekend. You're going to hear this.
That's right.
But it's a podcast too, right?
Yeah, it's actually a little more popular as a podcast than it is. Yeah.
So, it being a podcast, that pod could travel out into the universe and really be sampled at any time in the future, right?
Do you know about other places in the universe? Are you that rich and powerful?
Well, I have a pod. That's what you're asking. A death pod.
Is it like Mork from Mork's pod that we were talking about earlier?
It's a pod that myself and my family will be transported in when our time comes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, to age backwards.
I like to think that maybe this podcast is being heard by intelligent races beyond our own.
Most
now
definitely.
that I think that gold record wore out. Remember that solid gold record we sent up in space?
Oh, yeah, that was like on the Viking lander or something?
Yeah. There's no way that's still playing, right?
No.
That was a long time ago.
Who was on the record?
I think it was just REO Speedwagon. It was, just like on one side.
It was like the Django Reinhardt or some shit.
Oh.
Okay, Ben, I know you have to go. Let's talk really briefly about Night of 140 Tweets.
Yes.
Which,
yes.
First of all, let's do a little background about your charity, which is...
well, the charity that I'm involved in is it's really more of an initiative called the Haitian School Initiative that we partnered with Artists for Peace and Justice, basically to build schools in Haiti with a group called Architecture for Humanity, build temporary schools for everybody who's been affected by the earthquake. And so we've been doing some fundraising for it, and Paul Haggis is the other guy who's running it, and he makes serious movies.
Like
Crash, and he wrote $1 Million Baby, and
as well as some other not serious movies.
Some other not serious movies.
Yeah,
You're right.
He wrote Dumb and Dumberer.
Did he write Dumb and Dumberer? Yeah, and he wrote sitcoms too before.
Yeah.
Right, but he's like serious, serious guy now.
Does he also write Drabble, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think Drabble himself actually writes that. It's an autobiographical strip.
Wow. Oh, you think that would have stuck in my mind more?
Yeah, no.
Drabble.
Anyway,
so we had. So Paul Scheer came up with this idea. Who's I'm sure
he's been on the show many times. Yeah,
very funny man, and he came up with this I think brilliant idea to have people come up and read their best tweet to a live audience and just do it, person after person after
rapid
person.
Fire.
Yeah, and I think it ended up being like over 150 or 60 or 70
Yeah, it was
people,
somewhere in the range of 160. It was supposed to be 140 exactly, and he thought that he would have some dropouts, but I think everyone showed up and extra people showed up.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be like 160 people, just one after the other.
It was very exciting. I felt like I was at the birth of a new form of entertainment.
I know.
Really. I mean, because nobody's ever done anything like this before. And the green room, we did it at the UCB Theater in Hollywood, and the green room was the restaurant next door, so everybody was gathered there waiting to go on, and there was this sense of excitement.
Yeah, there's 150 amazing comedians and movie stars. And like who were some of the people who did this show?
Well, Will Ferrell was there, right? Who else was there?
We talked about this before.
Ashton Kutcher
during
was
the
there.
break. Ben can't remember anyone past Will Ferrell.
Demi.
Ashton and Demi were nice enough to show up. That's
they were
amazing.
Great.
Diablo Cody was there.
Diablo Cody.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
This comedian Paul F. Tompkins who's been on the show occasionally.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
He's kind of an odd duck.
Well, he sort of disappears into the whatever bit or character he's doing.
He sounds boring. You know who I saw was there, pictures online, some people from Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yes, they were there. They were there.
Crazy characters.
There was a guy who took off his clothes.
Yes, Rich Sommer from Mad Men.
I was pretty impressed with his commitment. And his tweet, I think, was like, "I had a horrible dream. I was naked in front of a group of people."
Right.
And there was a Sasha Grey.
The porn star,
the pornography star.
There were so many people. Bob Saget and John Stamos were there. It was amazing.
Yes. Oh wow! And I didn't even see everybody who was.
Neither did I. Yeah, I was in it. But
you were great. Greg Behrendt, very funny. But the interesting thing was, it was great because whatever your thing was, it only lasted about 8 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's this wonderful feeling of no matter what, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, Yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
if someone had a clunker, like
Yes.
there's someone almost immediately out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was done. It was like an hour and a half. We couldn't believe
Yeah.
it that it all happened that quickly.
Yeah, and it just went, and the audience was awesome, and it was
Now
really fun.
it was filmed to be sold.
Yes,
which
that's
and
right.
it's being sold on
On Amazon.
Amazon, which is Amazon.com/140 tweets, I
Yes,
believe, and
that's
also
right.
iTunes, which is iTunes.com/140 tweets.
That's right, and the money goes to to helping Haiti and to building these schools.
So it's $3, I believe, and $1 of that goes to Haiti. Is that correct?
$250 goes to me because I put up because it cost a lot to do this thing.
You can't
People
just
don't
rent the
realize.
bar next door
yeah.
to UCB for
Yeah,
free.
and then there's gas and blah blah blah. But
Babysitters, right?
yeah, babysitters. Exactly.
You know, you got a family to look
Right,
out for.
and then there's all the things I could have been doing in that
That's
hour
right.
and a half.
You
that
could have
I
filmed a
turned
hit
down.
movie.
I could
That's right.
Exactly.
You film
That's
all
right.
your movies in real time, isn't that right?
Exactly. So I have to take that into account. It's irresponsible if I don't.
Yeah,
So anyway, the upshot is, a slight percentage is going to help Haiti.
Good. So people can get this. It's really funny.
It's really entertaining. It really was, like, surprisingly so. I think everybody there was like, "Oh my god, this is really fun," and it's going to be edited and put together in a way that's really cool.
It already was edited. It's already out.
It was amazing.
Amazingly
It
edited.
was amazing how it came together just now. in
they
my
did a
head.
great editing
Yeah.
job on that thing.
I mean, that's why I would get
That's
it.
what I
just,
was most
just for the
impressed by.
editing.
Yeah.
If you want to be an editor in LA in the film industry, just
Right.
check this out
Yeah.
as an example of what
Definitely,
to do.
the editing could win an Oscar next year.
So Ben, I know you
Yeah.
have to go.
Yes.
Thank you so much for dropping by.
It's been wonderful.
And Ice-T, you have to go. You said.
If Ben has to go, then I have to go too because I don't want to lose status.
This is some
wanna
weird kind of
retain-
power trip.
That's important in the world of hip hop and
It's not a weird power trip. It's like a straight up power trip. I'm telling you, this is what is happening.
Right. He has
Look,
to
I-
maintain status.
Yeah, I put my cards on the table. Like
Right.
I need to look like a big shot. So if Ben has to leave, then I have to leave too.
I understand.
right.
I can't stick around here and
Right.
talk to you.
All right. Well, Ben,
yes.
Ice, thank you so much for coming by.
Really good to see you.
Always
It's
a
great to
pleasure,
see you. Thanks so much for doing Between Two Ferns, by
Yeah,
the way.
oh, no, that
has
was-
come out to much acclaim.
Yeah, it's incredible. The response to that has been incredible. No, that was fun. It's always fun to
Yeah, you're really funny.
to be in the firing line.
Egg yellows, very
Egg
funny.
yellows. Well, you know
Great
what?
pull.
That's what he looks like. I think that's his diet these days.
I do the Comedy Death Ray live show. I book that show, right? I get the best comedians in the world to do that show. But I can't rest on my laurels. Because then I'll just have a bunch of laurels collected and a big sleepy bed full of laurels. I have to get out there and I have to do the work. And when I say the work is, I mean I need to go to open mic, Raphone performances. I think that's how you say them. And I go to these and I check out new comedians. And I saw someone the other day who knocked my goddamn socks off of my feet and onto another part of my body, which will remain nameless. And I brought him into the studio today. I want to welcome my first guest for this second hour, Ben Alterman. How are you, Ben?
I'm great. How are you, Scott?
I am doing very well.
Well, this is lovely here in this radio station.
Thank you very much for coming. This is
Terrific.
Is this your radio debut?
Can you believe it? I've never been on the radio before. Now, I don't know. This is before your time. I don't know if you know this, but there used to be a day when all of the entertainment was on the radio. There didn't used to be a television.
That's right.
You're aware of
television
that?
was invented around when the Mayflower came over, right?
I don't know when that was. But anyway, I'm surprised you know that, but because it's before your time. But
We
there
should
didn't
es-
used to always be television.
We should establish that you are an older gentleman. Maybe people aren't quite getting that because it is the radio, but how old of a man are you?
I'll be 88 September.
88 years young, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It's a high number, and I feel very old. Very old.
Well, you don't look it. You look great. I mean, you look like an old man.
Are you trying to pick me up? Now, that's a joke, because I know you're not trying to pick me up, right?
Well, I mean, I could be trying to pick you
I
up.
doubt it. For heaven's sake, look at me.
So, when I saw you the other night,
Yes.
the one thing I couldn't believe was it was your first time doing comedy?
Well, right. The whole idea, here's the story. My granddaughter, Ashley, is having her sweet 16, and it's just going to be a wonderful party, all the family, people coming in from all over the country. And they was
That
saying...
seems really young to have a granddaughter. You're 88 years old. She's having a sweet 16. How old are your kids?
How old is my daughter?
Yeah,
Now you're going to
is-
put me on the spot? I don't
Yeah,
know how old
how
my
old is your
daughter
daughter to have a 16-year-old?
She's got a 16-year-old kid. She's got to be 44.
So she's 44. So you had her when you were 44. You're
Second marriage.
Oh, you were an old dad.
Second marriage. Yeah.
Do you have any kids from your first marriage?
No. She was barren. My first wife was barren.
Is that why you broke up?
Well, I'll tell you, it didn't help. I kept trying to put a baby in there, and the doctor says, forget her. She's like a goddamn desert. You'll never get one in there. It's like a desert in there. He took out the speculum and said, all I see is sand and camels.
Camels.
And I says, geez, it's going to be hard to stick around, Ingrid.
This is in the doctor's office?
Yeah. It was right there that I said, look, it ain't going to work. I'm trying to put a baby in there, breaking my back, trying to get one in there.
Whatever happened to Ingrid after that?
Oh, you know what? She had a nice life for about another 9 months, and then God help her, she killed herself. She did.
So a really nice life for those 9 months.
She had a wonderful life for those 9 months on my alimony, and then it was just, how many pills can I take? That many? Now I'm dead.
But at least that 9 months was really, really great for her.
As far as I know, sure. As far as I know, on my alimony. Boy, was I relieved when I didn't have to pay that alimony anymore.
Oh, boy. Does that happen? Or
Does this make me sound like a jerk, any of this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not at all. So you don't have to keep paying alimony to an estate, right? Like you...
I don't know if I have to or not, but I never did. She was all alone at the end there, so there was nobody really to come after me.
Okay, so getting off that topic, Sweet 16 for your granddaughter. What was her name again?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Yep, my granddaughter Ashley. She's turning 16. The whole family's coming in, and they were talking about what are we going to get for entertainment. Everything was thrown around. Snoop Doggy Dog,
From Snoopy puppets to Snoop Doggy Dog, I'm sure.
Maybe that whole gamut. Yeah, I see
everything
what
in
you're
between.
saying, and everything in between. And the whole entertainment encyclopedia was cracked open. And I says, hey, guess what? Let me save you some money. I'll be the entertainment. I'll go up there, I'll MC, and I'll do some jokes and introduce the band.
Huh.
And have a lot of fun.
But yet you have no experience doing this.
Nope, I absolutely don't. I mean, I guess I've been a bit of a ham for a long time, Scott. But, no, this should be my first time performing stand-up comedy, except for these open microphone performances.
So you say it correctly as well.
That's how you say it on the circuit.
So, how many have you done? Was the one I saw your first? Or
that was it. Yeah, that's the only time. I just wanted to work out the material.
Sure.
Just wanted to work it out once
before doing the Sweet 16 party. What was her name again?
Oh, you talking about Ashley?
Yes, Ashley.
I see you're trying to get me to forget my granddaughter's name. Well, it ain't going to happen. Ashley. And my daughter was 44 when she had her.
And what is her name?
Huh?
What is her name?
Crystal. My daughter, Crystal, was 44 when she had Ashley now. No, I was 44 when Crystal was born.
And then she had Ashley when she was...
Well, it was 16 years ago. What do I got to get out an abacus to have a conversation with you about Ashley's party?
So already you're a seasoned comedian. You know abacus is a funny word to say.
Sure it is. Well, it's the funniest way of keeping track of numbers. Except maybe Texas Instruments is also funny.
That's funny. Okay. So getting back to the party.
Yes.
You go out, you do these open mics. I saw you. I thought you were dynamite.
Dynamite?
And have you done the party yet?
No, I haven't done the party yet.
When is the party?
The party's coming up this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, is it a Saturday party or a Sunday party?
It's going to be Saturday in the afternoon.
These details may not seem important to you, but I want to paint a picture for the listener.
Sure, it's going to be at the Old Town Pasadena Marriott Saturday afternoon. Come on down, folks.
Really? It's an open party?
Not really, but come on down. Well, I don't know if we can afford to feed everybody. Bring a boxed dinner, but it'll be fun.
Okay, so that's coming up tomorrow, and so you're going to work out a little bit of the material here today. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I would love it. I thought it was fantastic stuff.
Because you're a seasoned pro, and I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion. I'm just going to start out. I'm going to start out on a bit of a somber note, actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm going to, because my second wife has also passed.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, and so I'm going to say, I'm very sorry that my wife couldn't be here. She would have loved to have been here for this occasion, but she passed away of ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer. What, was she smoking with her pussy? Now that's my opener. Right? Now everybody's on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing. I've grabbed it.
I have to say, you didn't use that opener when I saw you the other night.
That's the opener right there. That's the one.
All right.
I hook him with that,
Okay, sure.
and it's all true. That's the best part about it. It's true. Absolutely true.
Okay,
And
well,
everyone in the room loved it, too.
I hadn't heard that opener, but let's.
That's
Oh,
a-
wait a
that's
minute.
a
Who's
great
this? Who is
I have a
this?
question. Was she
Yeah.
smoking with her pussy?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Who is this now?
That's where the joke part comes in.
Wait a minute. Do we have a second guest who just walked in the studio?
I've been sitting here and you've been staring at me. So what are you pretending? I did
You
walk
walked
in.
in the middle of the segment, though.
Yes,
Let's
the
be
middle of the
honest.
segment, and I'm
And what am
finding
I
this man.
supposed to stop everything?
No, but this man is very interesting.
He is it.
And
Let me
I-
just welcome Jeff Garlin to the show.
Oh, Jeff Garland.
Yeah,
How's
the
it
Garlin, L-I-N. There's no D on the end.
Oh,
Jeff Garlin.
I'm not
You
sure
must be
yet.
thinking of a different guy.
Yeah.
Judy.
Oh, Judy Garland. Well, she's before your time.
Jeff, do you want to get in on
She
this?
was
Let's hear.
terrific.
I've
You've done
been
stand up.
trying-
You've done stand up for a long time. You've done
27 years.
27 years. Maybe
Yes.
you have some
That's a
tips
long time.
to offer.
Well, based on the first joke, I have no tips.
Aha! I
right.
would have been 61 when you started your stand-up career, as long as we're doing the math.
All right, so let's get to your second joke then, and maybe Jeff could work with you a little bit on this material.
Well, sure. My friend, the widow Feeney, is very sick. She's very...
The widow
very-
Feeney?
the
You're
widow
kidding
Feeney.
me.
No, she's very sick.
Do you know I used to cut her grass?
Did you cut Feeney's grass?
This is like how you can ruin a joke. Just in the middle of it, you slow it down by saying...
That's what the show is all about.
Yeah,
that's
widow
terrific.
Feeney's grass.
No, that's terrific.
No, I did cut her grass, but go ahead, tell me the joke.
I like this. It misdirects people that there's a punchline coming, but there is, folks. The widow Feeney, she was very sick. She lost a lot of weight. Last week, she asked me if I wanted a blowjob. I says, yeah. Not because I wanted a blowjob, but she looked like she could use the protein. Right? And that's my second joke.
Oh, my God.
Now, people at now...
Now, you say
everybody-
this is... How old are the people listening to this? This is her...
Well, it'll be Ashley and a lot of her friends. So they're 16, 15...
Sweet 16. This is a Sweet 16 you're performing at?
That's correct. My
I think you're
granddaughter.
doing fantastic, and I think that this is the direction ahead. Let's hear number 3.
Okay, great. Well, this one gets really timely and topical.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
I
I
say-
love timely talk. Maybe
Well,
that's a better...
I think anything concerning the widow Feeney is
Yeah.
timely and topical. That's my opinion.
Well, that's
do you know
true.
I have a widow Feeney chunk in the middle of my act?
Do you really? Is
Yes,
it the
I
same
do.
widow Feeney?
No, different widow Feeney. That's what mistook me. Because the one that
I
I know
see.
is very heavy. She's not thin.
Oh, that's a different widow Feeney. Let
She
me
needs
tell
no
you,
protein.
this one is wasting away. It
Oh,
is
it's-
very funny. Now, my
Do
timely
all the
joke-
young girls know widow Feeney?
A lot of them do. Yeah, they do because she's very active in the community.
Okay,
and,
so
yeah.
then they would laugh at the joke because they know how thin she is.
And they've seen her. They've watched her waste
and they
away
know
over
how
the
much
last year.
protein semen has.
Well, if they don't, I'll explain it. I'll be
Oh,
more than
good,
happy
good.
to.
Would you explain to them the word
Sure.
jism?
Jism, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's an old word. I'd happily explain it to them and let them know that semen is, mostly protein and sugars. Be more than happy to explain that.
Where do those come from? I've never really thought about it. I know if
The
you eat a lot
seminal
of...
vesicles.
Oh, right. If you eat a lot of pineapple, I know your semen tastes a little sweeter. You may have experienced that in your 88 years.
Sure, I have. Anyhow, Congress recently closed the...
topical. That's right. We're on the topical
They
channel.
recently closed the Medicare prescription donut hole. I've been closing donut holes for years with my cock. Right?
I would open with that one. See, this is
Yeah.
where I disagree with
Here's
your
where your
order.
like that.
expertise comes in.
Yes, I would open with that
Because
one.
it's ripped from the headline, so why?
Yes.
That's why?
Yes.
Also,
you
there's
want to
something-
show how smart you are from the get-go.
Because
And that
that
one
way-
shows
Okay.
you're really smart.
That way, if you ever say anything dumb, they'll go with you on it. Like, oh, that's
Right.
just a dumb joke that a smart
Right.
person's saying, other
Yes,
than vice versa.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Okay,
Yes.
because there are some big words in that one. Folks, we've got a Japanese lady who lives in my building over there at the retirement community.
Mrs. Yakamoto?
No,
I'm just slowing down every one of your jokes. Mrs. Yakamoto. I know. I used to
Very
cut her
close.
lawn.
Mrs. Hakamura, but
Oh,
very
Mrs.
close.
Hakamura.
Very
okay.
close.
Very
huh?
close.
Yeah.
She,
Now, Jeff, are you do you have some sort of ESP? Because, like, at this point, Yakamoto and Hakamura is very, very close, man.
Well, but I just know. I thought it was Mrs. Yakamoto.
Uh-huh. But why
it's
would
not.
you? Why did you think that? Were you getting like some sort of extrasensory perception?
No, I know his building. I live in the area. And
okay.
so, therefore, I thought it was Miss Yakamoto moved out, obviously.
Yakamoto?
Yeah, do you remember her?
Yakamoto? Jeez, I don't know. She might have died.
That's interesting. I didn't know that
I
you guys
can't
knew
keep
each
track.
other or lived.
We
next to
don't know
other.
each other, but I know the building.
You know my building.
Interesting.
I live over at Shady Elm.
And you live by Shady Elm, Jeff? Is that
Right around the corner.
Oh, okay.
Now you live
Well, this is
Boner
terrific.
Avenue.
Oh, on you live on Boner.
I live on Boner.
Oh, sure. Well, I should go. I take a walk on Boner Avenue all the time, always going up and down Boner Avenue.
I've seen you. I
Sure
thought,
I am.
do you have a dog named Pietro?
Oh, yeah, Pietro. Don't get me started on that son of a bitch. I'm not allowed to have him, so that's...
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
they
a-
don't
I wouldn't
allow.
know that. I
but
mind
Jeff-
my own business.
You don't live in a retirement community on Boner Avenue. You have a
No.
large mansion and estate.
Yeah, filled with youth.
Yes, of course. But it's
Youth is there 24 hours a day.
Oh,
you were
enjoy
able to
it.
get a little more cheaply because it's right around the corner from a retirement community.
No, actually, there's a bigger demand because crime is lower.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
They don't fuck with us, the criminals.
Oh, I thought you were saying that they're not criminals.
I did. That is
Oh,
what I was
okay,
saying.
interesting. But you're saying that criminals. Why is that? Why
Well, a
don't?
lot of us have canes and walking sticks and
Oh,
things like
that
that.
is a deterrent. A
We're
lot of people
walking
don't know
around
that.
with a weapon right there. And who wants to be the guy that got beat up by an 88-year-old man?
And do you know the old people that work over at the lotion shop?
The lotion shop? I don't go in there. I don't need that. I don't need that.
You don't like to
lotion.
moisturize?
No, not very much.
How do you? But your skin looks amazing. What do you
It
do?
does for your age. It's
Really?
unbelievable.
You
Yeah.
guys are flattering.
Do you just
me.
rub that semen that we were
Couple
talking
of
about all over
flat-
Oh,
every
what
day?
now, Scott? Why did you go there? That's for him to go.
That's filthy.
I didn't think he was
Scott.
going to do it, so I wanted to jump in there. As host of the show.
If you're asking if I rub semen on my face.
No, I was actually talking about lotion from the lotion shop.
Oh, yeah. I have not been to the lotion shop. What about it? Is
That's
it
a great
nice in
place.
there?
It's fantastic. First off, when you're going for a walk in our neighborhood, it can get a bit hot over on Boner Avenue.
Sure it can.
So you go into the lotion shop, the air conditioning just blows all day long.
it's a great part of town.
It is a great
It
part of
really
town.
is. The
I know.
parks.
Beautiful parks.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 5 of them.
I know.
You know, like every block there's a new park.
New
it's
park,
amazing.
and they're attached by a little mini bridge, a drawbridge.
Yeah.
and
Which
there's-
is important
And there's
because-
and the local old people from your area
Yeah.
dress like trolls.
And hide under the bridge
Under
sometimes.
the bridge
Yeah, sure,
for fun for everyone.
Yeah, we do that sometimes.
Because a lot of people don't remember the classics these days. So the old people want to, remind you of the.
And then, of course, there's Suicide Girls Mountain.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, but
Wait.
I love walking by there because I love the look. But I don't see a lot of old people.
You know what's
there.
interesting is Suicide Girls Mountain. Not a lot of suicides there. It's just people getting tattoos.
Yeah, a lot of tattoos, a lot of dirty girls. Mm-hmm, yeah, I dig it.
I love that part of town.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh.
Right near Boner Avenue.
Yeah, just right down the street.
Yeah, it's from Boner Avenue.
And I love the bridges because a lot of times you don't want your kids playing in traffic and crossing the street.
Right,
Just
it's
take
the bridges.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
trolls, everyone knows they're from the retirement community. It's an innocent, fun
very,
time.
Yeah,
very
you play
friendly.
along with them like
Sure.
you've played the troll every once in a while.
I sometimes I'll crouch under that bridge with some candy or something like that and lure a child down there, and just to get their mom or dad worried for an hour and a half,
It's a
2
fun
hours,
game.
3 or 4 hours.
And what happens during those
And
3
then-
or 4 hours? Just eat candy?
Well, yeah, we eat candy and I tell stories about how it used to be, the olden times and stuff. And boy, kids love to hear that, don't they?
I heard that story
Love
you
to
told
hear.
about radio and TV not being invented yet, and that was a dynamite story. I loved it.
Were you aware of this, Jeff? This is
He
before your
walked
time.
yeah before his time. Literally, he walked in right after
It
the
used
story.
to be that there wasn't television. That if you wanted to hear a story, you had to put on the radio. That's the
I
truth.
remember that. And there was no stereo radio, by the way. It was mono coming from a little box.
Monaural.
Monaural, yes.
I don't know about that, but there was radio and not television. I tell you that much.
And lotion sales since the advent of television and
Through the roof.
radio through the roof.
Oh,
But
my
back
gosh.
then, nobody bought lotion.
No one knew
I
about it
don't
back
know.
then. That was
no
a problem.
no one knew, but you couldn't get the word out.
If you wanted to moisturize your skin back then, you had to go straight to whale blubber. That was all there was
That's
to
right.
do it. It was whale blubber and rendered fat.
And then once TV was invented, everyone looks at the stars on TV. Before then, no one had to moisturize because it's radio. Who
Right.
cares if you have
Who
cracked
cares?
skin?
You look like a leather bag and know you work
Yeah.
forever.
But then the stars came out. They had beautiful skin.
Oh, sure.
Remember the Martin and Lewis Colgate Hour? Oh, just beautiful skin
That's
on
before
those two.
your time. You wouldn't know about that.
Oh no, I don't know
That's
about
before
that. You're
your
right.
time.
So getting back to your jokes.
Yeah, let's hear the next joke.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, great.
Number 4.
I was talking about the Japanese lady that lives in the building.
That's right, Mrs.
Oh, I
Hakamura.
stopped you. Yeah,
Whenever
cut her
I
wrist.
titty fuck her, I call it planting my flag on Iwo Jima.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
That's going to catch on.
What's that?
See, the problem with that joke is
You can't copyright it.
you can't.
What do you mean?
No. Listen. This is really important for everyone to hear.
I'll put my listening ears
It's
on.
a funny
Hold
joke.
on, wait for him to put his listening ears on. Hold on.
Don't be. Was it facetious?
I think so, something
That
like
was
that.
facetious with an older gentleman. I
No,
would give him more respect than that.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey.
You're welcome. A
I
little
don't-
more. That was facetious.
I apologize.
You jumped to the jism. You got him with his listening ears.
You know what? I'm
I
just
think
going to
he's-
back off
He's
here.
a little guest. No, here's what I want to say.
All right.
I think that could catch on with young people. I think those young girls at that party will say to the young boys in the future, "You got a flag you want to plant at Iwo Jima?"
But
That's what's gonna happen.
And no one credits you. It's a lot like your friend Richard Lewis, who's
Yes.
on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
He says that he started from hell, the
Yeah.
blank from hell.
Yes.
And no one ever credits him.
Right, which is wrong.
It's wrong. He's lying, you're saying.
No, it's wrong that they don't credit
He's
him.
a filthy liar is what you're trying
No,
to tell
what
me
I'm
right
trying to say is he's a gentle lovemaker who loves his lotion and lives also on Boner Avenue.
now. That's true. You guys are neighbors.
We are.
But
He was the first person to bring something from hell back
That's
to
what he
our
says.
plane
Yes,
of
he
existence.
traveled.
Well, then I
he would say it in his act.
to heck with him.
He would say it in his act. and he would
mother-in-law
say,
from
mother-in-law
hell.
from hell. And it caught on, and it became part of the vernacular,
Oh, I
much
see.
like planting your flag on Iwo Jima will.
I see.
And no one ever credits him. So what I'm trying to say is copyright that phrase right now.
Yeah, okay.
Get it on
Because
T-shirts.
I think the young people are going to grab hold of that. Like you'll see Japanese girls wearing flags that just say,
Yes.
wearing flags, shirts that say Iwo Jima, plant your flag here.
Yes,
and
yes.
it'll just like point right to in between
Their breasts.
Their, breasts.
I like that idea. The young Japanese love to remember that war.
How many more jokes do you have? By the way, I heard none
A
of
lot.
these the other night. I think you were just speaking off the cuff, and I enjoyed it a little more. But
Oh, no, these are
since
the jokes I'm gonna do.
Since then, you wrote some jokes.
There's a guy that lives down the hall from me. He has Alzheimer's. Every time I fuck him, he thinks it's his first homosexual experience.
Is that Mr. Francisco?
Francisco, that's the one.
Mr. Francisco.
You really do know that. How have we not met?
Well, he works in the lotion shop.
Oh,
So-
Francis. Well, yeah, he volunteers around town. I tell him, don't volunteer at a for-profit business, you idiot. But I tell you, he's got nothing left in his brain. He's got nothing left in his brain.
He
I say,
doesn't.
they're taking advantage
Do
of
you know I
over there.
walk in and I return lotions? That
Is that all? That's all you go in there for? Is just to buy stuff and return
Well, you're
it?
trying to get your
Yes.
hands on some of that air conditioning.
But I tell him I want 3 back, and he gives them to me.
So what's this now? You go in there with,
With one lotion,
Yeah.
I tell him I'm supposed to get 3 back. It's what they offer, and he doesn't know
And
the
he
difference.
doesn't remember.
He has no idea.
God, I gotta get to that
Forgot
store.
Well, if you like a lot of lotion, my highest recommendation.
I have a whole room just reserved for that, so that sounds perfect for my
Poor
kind of point of view.
Francisco.
My name is.
What's that?
Huh? What's your name?
What's your name?
My name is Ben. I said poor Francisco because that's the gentleman we were just talking about.
Okay, poor Francisco. Go ahead.
That's it. Well, because you're taking advantage
Oh,
of him
I thought-
over there at the lotion shop.
I thought that was
oh,
your next joke.
You thought I was heading into a joke.
Yeah.
I see why you thought that.
All right.
My daughter gave me a DVD player for Christmas. I have no idea how to use it, so I just stick my cock in it and fuck it. Now, that's one of the jokes I'm going to tell at the party, and my daughter is going to be
Can I
there.
tell you something?
Yes.
Sorry to say this, and Scott, back me or not, I think that's a little too graphic for young people.
What are you talking about?
I just don't think anyone watches DVDs anymore. That's my problem
Oh, I
with
think
it
they do.
for young people.
I think they
no,
do.
I think they watch it all on computer. Streaming video.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? This could
YouTube.
work with any appliance. My daughter got me a computer.
Toaster.
A toaster. I don't know how to use it. I just stick my cock in it and cook my cock.
I would say use the do the computer, but say you stick your cock in the Wi-Fi or in the USB port.
I'm going to write all of this.
Yeah,
down
that would-
because I
that
don't
would
even
relate
know
No,
Lazy
I
what-
would use
I don't know
a
what that means.
FireWire. What's the new
FireWire, yeah, FireWire
what's the new-
800.
A FireWire 800.
Yeah.
Don't go with the
Firewire.
400.
Yeah.
Kids are they're hip to the 800 speed. That's where. And can I tell you something? You may
Yes.
not know this, but your cock would fit perfectly in FireWire 800.
We
port.
took a look at it
Really?
before the show.
Is it, like,
and
shaped
yeah,
like a
It's
FireWire?
exactly like a FireWire plug. It's amazing. Yeah.
Well,
Do you
so
have any jokes about napkins?
I don't have any jokes about napkins.
Because young people love jokes about napkins.
Is that right? This is good to hear.
Yeah,
I need
Ben.
to hear this.
Yeah, write
because
this
I-
down.
Write
Look,
that down, Ben.
I don't want them to walk out going, "That was nice. That was cute. That
But
was
where-
adorable."
but where's
I
all
want
the
I
napkins?
want to kill at this thing.
Napkins.
All right.
All right. So what do you got? You got a big closer?
Big closer.
Can you add the word napkin to it?
Yeah. Do your closer and add the word napkin somewhere in the sentence if you can.
Gee whiz, guys, that's a tall order over there.
But you know what? If anyone can do it, it's you.
Anyone can do it. It's you. Yes.
Folks, I had to draw up a will. I decided to leave my stamp collection to my
What'd you
to my
write the will on?
granddaughter.
What'd you write the will on?
on. See, we're helping you.
Okay, folks, I had to draw up my will. Of course, I wrote it on a napkin.
Sure Sure.
Now, am I going to even be able to go on from there?
I don't know.
I don't know. They'll be
Maybe
laughing at
you're
that
right.
point.
You're
You're
right.
gonna love
Maybe
the napkin.
Maybe you
going.
should end the sentence with napkin. Maybe you're right.
I decided to give my stamp collection to my granddaughter, my 52 caddy to my daughter, and I'm leaving my herpes to the entire third floor of Shady Elm.
Napkin.
Napkin? Well,
No,
it
he
isn't
said
a
napkin
napkin.
earlier. He
It's a
said napkin
facility.
earlier.
That's closed with
But
napkin.
no, the
oath.
Close with
third
napkin.
floor. Have you really done that, or is that just a joke? You've never made love to anyone on the third
Are
floor?
you kidding me? No, I get a lot of action up there.
But on the
Jeff.
third floor, you do?
On the third floor,
Because I've
all
heard
over
the
place.
fifth floor is the rep for being the place to get, to
Oh,
stick
is
your
that right?
Firewire 800 looking penis into things.
Well, I'll go check out 5 then, Jeff. But I
That-
live on 3. I like to, I don't like to travel far.
No, that's too much trouble to go up a flight of stairs to get some pussy. You
Well,
know
it
what I'm
is
saying?
when it's
I
all
mean,
around
Two
you.
flights.
2 flights, yeah. Ben, that was great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so
Hey,
much for the
Will you do me a
advice.
favor? Will you stick around for the rest of the show?
I would be delighted to stick around.
Thank you.
I got
Jeff, are you going to
nowhere
stick around for
go.
the rest of the show? Because we have a lot to talk about.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
As long as Ben does, I will.
Okay, we have a deal.
We've got a pact.
I am here with Ben Alterman, who's an amateur comedian.
Not anymore. Now, after your guys' advices, I feel like I'm a pro.
You're going to have your first professional paying show tomorrow.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yep, they're
Very
gonna.
exciting. Will you come back and let us know how it goes?
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe write it on your blog somewhere and we can link to it.
Or write it on a napkin and send it in.
Oh boy!
Napkin
now
comedy,
that
I
would be a
love it.
funny bit since they love napkins so much. If I take out a napkin and start writing down how it's going in the middle of it.
Oh
would
my
slay.
God!
That would
That
slay.
might hurt you because it's hard to recover from that. So I would do that towards the end.
That would be the end.
I also want to welcome Jeff Garlin to the program from Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's the co-creator of that show. He plays manager Jeff. What's your last name on the show?
Green.
Jeff Green. Why change it to Green? To try to be less Jewish, or what happened
Less
with that?
Jewish than Garlin. Green is more Jewish than Garlin.
That's true.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jeff. Your first time on the show. Great to
First
see
time
you.
on the show. We've been trying to do this for a long
Yes.
time, and look at us. We've done it.
Now, Jeff, it is, I want to say precipitous timing. That's not the right word. I don't know. But it's great timing because...
It's precipitous.
is that the right word?
We're going to go with it.
I don't know. It's precipitous timing.
It's raining.
Yeah, I think that's actually what that word means.
It's raining time.
But fortuitous timing, at the very least, because you asked me to do the show, and I literally had just read your book like an hour earlier on the plane. And you've written this book. It's called Jeff Garlin, My Footprint. I actually am holding it up like we're on TV right now. What camera do I
There
hold
it
this up
is.
to? Jeff Garlin, My Footprint. It's your first book.
Yes.
It's nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about.
No,
That's all
no.
there is to say about
It's
it.
about me trying to go green and trying to lose weight.
Now,
while
when you say
making
that, do you mean
Curb Your
Jeff Green?
Enthusiasm. Oh my God.
Is that a joke other people have made? Did that just shut down the interview?
I think that joke might be too bad for other people.
Did that just shut down the interview? I
Are we
want
closing
so
up shop?
badly, but I want just one time just to be like in a situation where I can just be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you talk, like I'm going to do a radio show, let's say in Phoenix or something, and you go, the guy you're meeting with is the biggest dick. He was horrible to me. I would love to go on his show and just torture him.
You could do it here
For who?
for me. You can
No,
torture me.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
You're the best.
Oh, you're the best.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the book. It's actually kind of a fascinating book because it's half of it is like a weight loss book, which is like a diary almost. At one
Yeah,
point,
it's
you
not a
start
how-to
diary.
book by any
No.
stretch of the imagination. It's my
Although
failures.
you have some facts in there.
There are some facts in there, yes, but it's not like me teaching people. I wouldn't be arrogant enough.
But it's all about it seems like a year-long period of
yeah,
your
a
life
little over a year. Yes,
where you're
yes.
trying to lose weight.
Yes.
And you tie that into also trying to be a little more environmentally conscious.
Yeah, trying to lower my carbon footprint as well as my personal footprint. My footprint.
Wait a minute. So that's what the title means.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about it is half of the book is, or maybe a little more than half, is all about your personal struggles with dieting, which I thought to
Food
be
addiction.
Food addiction, which
Yeah.
I thought was really interesting because I've read some books on this topic, but you really get into your mindset and just
Mm-hmm.
what it's like about like just the challenges of like just why you eat.
Yes.
What you eat, you know.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
at one point you tell a really interesting story, and I've heard you tell this on stage about when you were in a store with your wife.
Oh, yeah. I was in the store with my wife, and I actually Well, she went to another store next door. I went into a grocery store. I was sent in to get garbage bags.
You
What
split
store-
up and cover more ground.
That's
Did
correct.
she go into
Like
the
they used
lotion
to do
store?
on
Where did she go?
Scooby-Doo.
What she went into a pet food place.
Oh,
you know,
okay. Over on Boner Avenue.
And near Boner, correct.
Right.
Around Boner.
Over on the Boner Plaza.
Oh, Boner Plaza, sure.
Yeah, that's where all the shops are.
Well, they
So-
rip you off over there, though.
I got to tell you something. You're out of touch with prices.
The
Yeah.
way.
You know what?
Because
Old,
they're-
Everything is
Boner
overpriced.
Plaza,
No.
everything's expensive.
old people are scared of inflation, and they shouldn't be. It's a sign that the economy is doing well.
I'm terrified of it. Terrified of it. And I'll tell you another thing. I hate to step on what you're writing here in this book, but this global warming
You already
thing is
wrote
a
it.
load of nonsense. It's
Oh.
garbage. It is garbage. It is absolute nonsense.
Have you ever thought of adding an R to the word garbage?
Where? Where would I put it? It's garbage.
It's G-A-R. G-A-R. Garbage.
I'm not good. I'm too old to learn how to talk.
Not garbage.
It's
Garbage.
garbage. This whole thing is
It's garbage?
Why
if
don't you believe it?
If anything, the planet is. You know, I had to put on a
it-
sweater
wait, hold on.
and a hat this morning. If anything,
anything,
the
the
planet
planet
is
is
getting
what?
colder. It's getting colder all the time. This morning, what is it now? The end of March, and I got to put
Global
on a
warming
sweater.
doesn't necessarily.
Here's the problem. You were cold because you didn't put on an application of lotion before you left the house.
So you're at the store over in Boner Plaza where the prices are very high.
Yes, and I essentially, the point being is I was hungry. My sugar had dropped. Instead of grabbing an apple, I got a caramel Kit Kat. Mm-hmm. And if you like Kit Kats and you like caramel, they've done a wonderful job.
There are a lot of candies you were saying
Right.
when they try to combine don't do such a good job. I
No,
like the
this
white
one-
chocolate Reese's
Peanut butter cups, and then you prefer the
yeah.
white chocolate.
Yeah.
Do you know I haven't had sugar in almost a year and a half now?
Wow.
Yep.
Gee
That's
whiz.
amazing.
Yep. Willikers, I thought you would say.
Oh,
That's
crazy.
From what I've heard, semen is made up a lot of sugar. So
That's what he just told us a few minutes ago.
hey, you know what I don't get?
So yes, it's true. I have not had semen also in a year and a half.
You haven't at all.
I'm a little
Good
more
for
impressed
you.
with that.
Good
Do
for
you know what I thought of recently? I was with some people, some fellas, who were talking about that if they could blow themselves, they'd be home when we were. Like, one guy said, "I'll be
The old
I'll be-
joke, right?
I'd be home." But the truth is, I don't want the ability to blow myself. Number one, I don't want to get a blowjob from anyone that looks like me.
right.
No.
I just really, even my eyes are closed. I know it's me.
Well, Brian Posehn talks about how the other part of that is then you'd have a dick in your mouth.
Right, but here's the scary part.
Yeah.
What if I enjoyed that?
Ugh. Then you start like looking around
For
who,
other
who
penises.
else is in the house.
That's correct. I go to the 3rd floor or the 5th floor of Shady Elm.
Sure you would.
Start looking around at Ed Begley Jr.
Hey, on the subject
Who,
of
by the
candy,
way,
we'll
Ed
get
Begley
to-
Jr., I was on the phone with on my way here.
Really?
Yes,
I want
and-
to talk to you about him, but let's get through this story
Okay.
first. So you're in the
he's
store.
He's full of crap on the whole planet thing.
Oh
Ed
no
Begley
no
Jr.
no
I'll
no
tell
no!
you,
I
I'll tell
don't.
you.
I don't want to
I'll
get
tell him
into
to
a
his
debate
face.
about this.
Love
I just
to
Did
tell
you
him to
know
his
Ed
face.
Begley Sr.,
Ed Begley Sr., sure.
the character
The
actor?
great trombonist.
No, character actor.
Different
The famous
guy.
actor.
Different guy.
Oh, different guy. So you're in the store. You grab this caramel Twix or Kit Kat. What was it?
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
My wife comes in. I put the wrapper in my pocket, and the point being is, I actually stole the Kit Kat because I couldn't pay for it on the way out.
Because you're trying to hide it from your
Right.
wife.
So driving home, I thought I rather than get in trouble with my wife, I chose the possibility of arrest.
You could be arrested right now just talking about it on the air.
Yeah. What's the statute of limitations? How long
I
ago
don't
was
know.
this thievery?
Do you know I already did my investigation? Actually, I went there, bought a Kit Kat, and then put it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's just me because I'm weird that way.
Instead
I
of
actually
going
did.
in and telling them the story, and
Well,
actually
I'm not going to
doing
go
it-
in and tell them the story. I don't think they'd have much interest. They'd look at me like I was nuts. So I bought a caramel Kit Kat, and then I turned around and put it
Put
back.
it back.
So you did the wonderful favor of throwing off their inventory and their cash register
Twice.
on 2 separate days.
Yes.
Is what you did.
But at the end of the year, it'll all equal out.
I don't know that they do it that way.
I think that it would.
No, only with Kit Kats do they do that. They
Oh, all
take-
right. That's
they
an
pay
annual
clothes, they-
reconciliation
That's
on
an
the
annual
Kit Kats?
reconciliation,
All
yes.
right.
I think it's really tough to be convicted of a crime when you're a celebrity in Los Angeles.
Well,
so-
listen, I went on the internet, the LAPD's website.
Do you have FireWire 800, by the way?
All I use. And it told me there's like sort of like the park area off Boner Avenue.
Sure.
If it occurs at Boner Plaza or in that area, there's a 3-month statute of limitations. So I can do what I want there, and after 3 months I'm free as long as it involves chocolate.
I wondered why that was such a seedy area. That
That
little
would
part of the
explain it.
park.
That would
Yeah.
explain
A
it.
lot of chocolate theft by people who are going
Yeah.
to be out of town for 2
Chocolate
months.
crime.
Beautiful parks, but that one area of it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Where they got the chocolate bars
I
that
wish
are.
they'd clean that up, you know?
Those kids have their boxes. They're selling you the M&Ms.
Well, a lot of guys will steal chocolate and bring it under the bridge with them to get the kids down there.
You mentioned
That's
that you
what's
do
going
that.
on. Sure, I do. Sure I do.
So we mentioned Ed Begley Jr.
We
who
mentioned him.
is a nominally big part of the book.
Yes.
Did you know him before writing the book, or did you contact him with this idea and say, Ed,
He was an acquaintance prior to writing the book. Now he's a close personal friend.
Well, tell him he's full of beans over there.
Can I tell you something?
He's
He
full of
loves
soup with the whole planet thing.
Oh, well, by the way,
Yes.
funny you said that. The man loves his beans,
Oh,
loves soup.
well, we have
And
that in
if there's,
common.
if there's a Navy bean soup, this guy is in heaven. So,
Really?
Yeah. So I'll let him know that
Is
you
he a
said hello,
vegetarian?
Ben. Who, Ed?
Yeah, Ed.
I actually don't know.
That's interesting. We
I
should
know he's a
find that out.
gentle love maker.
So you said to him, Ed, I want to outfit my house, basically.
I
and
know I said I wanted to get some new outfits, and he went with me. That's how we got to know each
That's
other.
how you lure him.
That's how you lure him.
Yeah, that's the
so
sizzle.
we went to
and then
Boner Avenue Plaza. I bought some new outfits.
Ross Dress for Less.
At Ross Dress for Less. That's correct. I bought
Oh,
some
you
new
can get anything there. You name it, you can get it there.
But the inflation is still super high there.
Terrible, the prices are. They're trying to murder people with their prices.
Sticker shock.
Oh, that's a real thing.
That's
you know.
the number
That's
one
a real thing.
leading cause of death in age people.
Well, it's the number one leading
Age
cause
people?
of shock.
Did I say age people?
You did say H people, but I thought you said H people.
Age people.
Yeah.
HP, people who are shaped.
Hermaphrodites.
The H people sounds like a movie, and it's like a scary area.
Oh, we should write that movie.
Can I tell you something? No joking around. Your talent, my talent. We write that movie. It gets made.
How did I get
Seriously.
left out of it?
You're
How
an
did I get
amateur.
left out
You're
of
an
it?
amateur, Ben.
Yeah.
Let's
Scott
face
and
it.
I are professionals.
I'm
we
not gonna
write
be around
and
long
do
enough.
comedy for a living.
This is, and you write about this in the book, this is actually how you started Curb Your Enthusiasm. You were in the right place at the right time.
I was
and
actually
just-
eating with Larry David at a, what's that chicken place? Kookaroo in
Kookaroo,
Beverly
yeah.
Hills. It's
Love
no longer
Kookaroo.
there, across from Nate Nell's, and that's where we had the conversation that led to.
And
Curb
you
Your
were
Enthusiasm.
hanging out with Alan Zwiebel.
Zweibel.
Zweibel.
Yes, we
And
were
then
writing a show that was going to
He
be the
shared an office with Larry
David and Billy Crystal. Alan and I were writing a show that was one of two possible shows to be a companion show to Everybody Loves Raymond.
Right.
It was my show, the Jeff Garlin program, or a show called The King of Queens.
And which one made it?
Ben, it would be The King of Queens. You ever seen it?
I don't care for television.
If you did care for television, what would you watch?
What would I watch? I would. You know that History Channel is good.
But you've never seen it.
I've never seen it, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, why not? The
Sure.
idea.
I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about that story, Jeff, is that you immediately ditched Zweibel once Larry David started talking to you.
Not true.
No, really?
You said you read the book.
Wait, but I thought, because you never
No.
mentioned him after Larry
I
David
do.
comes into
I
the book.
mentioned after we filmed the Curb Your Enthusiasm special, that's when CBS let me know they weren't moving forward with my show.
And then you said, sayonara.
And then I was driving home and I got in a car accident, which led to back surgery, which led to a stroke.
That's right. Yeah, that's where you have something in common here with Ben. As he
Did
looks
you
down,
really have to look on your sheet for that
I did.
name?
I don't remember names.
But Ben, I mean, it's been
I
we've been
barely
using
remembered
it.
your name.
My name is Roseanne.
Ashley Hakamura.
Can
I
I,
got
tell you
'em
something?
all.
But my name would be Ashley Hakamura.
No, I'm saying I know all the names we've talked about today.
Well, Ashley's your
This
granddaughter.
is
my
Sweet 16.
granddaughter.
What was your daughter's name again?
My daughter's Crystal.
Huh? Crystal,
I
got
got
it.
them all. I got
You
them
like a
all.
steel
Why would I forget? They're real names.
And they're real people.
Sure they are.
Do you know I used to date your daughter, Crystal? You don't remember me coming over, do you?
Wait a minute. You're kidding me. Did
You're
you
about
date
the-
my daughter?
you're about
when
the
I
same
was
age.
when I
She's-
was a kid, my name was Barnabas.
No.
Remember Barnabas,
I
little
remember
Barnabas?
Barnabas.
I'm little Barnabas, grown up.
Oh, my
grown up.
gosh. I loved you. You were a wonderful young man.
What was my name?
Very polite Barnabas.
Little Barnabas.
Little Barnabas. I'll never forget you. So polite, you used to wear a suit everywhere.
That's right. I wore a suit and a top hat. I was different than the other boys.
And you had a giant lollipop a lot of the time.
It wasn't
I
even a
did.
top hat. It was like a stovepipe. It was,
It was
like
a stovepipe like baby Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, but you were fascinated with Abe Lincoln. back
I was
in the day.
obsessed. And nobody knows and no one believes me to this day that he loved lollipops. That's why I always had a lollipop.
And you favored a monocle quite a bit of the time, didn't you?
Yes,
That was the
but
one.
but
That was the one part that didn't have anything to do with Abe Lincoln.
It had nothing to do with Abe Lincoln, and it was because my right eye needed the help
Right.
Sure, sure.
to equal out. Now they've equaled out, and I'm fine.
Well, astigmatism. Astigmatism.
Yeah.
Precipitous.
Precipitous. Astigmatism. So, Begley.
Ed
Hit us.
Begley, yes.
What's it like hanging out with him?
All right, first off,
Yeah. Hit us with some Begley.
going to tell you what it's like. Girls love him.
Really?
Yeah, so
Good for
does
him.
me no good. Married man. He's married too, but they love him. He can avoid it too, but they just, if you want to get, let me tell you something, you young fellas listening, if you,
Why would you said you young fellas? You looked at me and then you amended it to say listening. I'm a young fella.
are you listening?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
Okay,
so what's
I'm
the
sorry.
problem?
I'm sorry. I
You
retract
young
that.
fellas listening, write Ed Begley a fan letter. Say you want to meet up, go to lunch, go to Dupar's. You go into Dupar's with Ed Begley. Excuse me for saying this, and it's a term I don't really like, but the pussy's going to be jumping off the walls.
Wow.
You will get laid so fast you won't know what hit you. And can I tell you something?
What's the pussy doing on the walls?
I don't
to begin
use the
with?
word pussy, except when I'm referring to what Ed Begley does.
When you're referring to secondhand Begley pussy,
That's correct.
You have to say it
You
that
have to-
way.
You have to say it that way.
Do
That's
they
exact-
just want to get close to Mandel? Is that what it's all about?
Dave Mandel?
No, Howie Mandel. The two of them used to be on the
From St.
program.
Elsewhere?
Oh, from
How did
Elsewhere.
you know that? You've never watched TV.
I didn't say I've never watched it. I don't care for it.
And you haven't watched it lately. The last time you watched was the St. Elsewhere finale.
Well, when it all turned out to be a retarded boy's dream, I said, goodbye, television, and I wheeled it out to the driveway.
By the way, it was a
and
retarded
that was
boy's
the end
dream,
of
wasn't it?
Yeah.
The whole...
Autistic, yeah.
An autistic kid's dream was
Yeah.
the whole St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
What a load of
What a
garbage
pile
that
of
was.
shit.
I completely
says,
forgot that.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
television.
That was very in vogue for a while to have your entire seasons of your TV show be a dream.
Dallas.
Newhart did it. Dallas, yeah.
Saturday Night Live did it with the Terry Sweeney season. True.
The Terry Sweeney. The other
True
actors
facts
were
from a
responsible.
non-TV
In fact,
watcher.
It was all Madonna's dream. Who could forget?
Do you listen to Madonna, Ben?
Madonna, yeah. Well, you know what? I like her children's books. I find them very soothing.
That's how you got into her, and then you're like, she's a musician?
Yeah, I says, well, let's find out about her.
And then just loved her.
You know what? I'll tell you, I shouldn't say this, but there are times when I'm home alone and I'll do a bit of voguing. And I know it's an old song.
Do you ever watch Home Alone when you're
Wait,
home
no,
alone?
hold on.
No,
you
I-
just jumped past this gentleman telling us that he vogued.
From time to time.
I'm not
do you
interested in
have
that.
Do you have an outfit you wear when you vogue?
Well, yeah, it's a very. I have a sort of a sparkly hat and a single glove, like what's his name?
Janis
And-
Joplin?
Yes, and I dance around and I do quite a bit of voguing. I strike a pose. You know, there's really nothing to it.
That's in the song, I believe.
Is it?
Do you strike a pose?
I do from time to time.
Let's see one of those poses. I
Oh,
know
look
this.
at it. Look at him. Look at him.
That's
That
just
isn't
one
a-
of them, and there's a million.
I have seen a lot
Oh,
of
my
Vogue.
God. Look, there's another one.
How about that?
You better slow down, mister.
From time to time, I do a bit of voguing. That's all.
Gosh, I wish that you would come every week and do some of that.
But I was little Barnabas. I knew you for a long time.
Sure,
My boy.
I'll never forget you. I really hoped that she would marry you.
Who?
My daughter Crystal.
Marry who?
I thought that she would. I hoped that she would marry you, little Barnabas.
Okay.
Who did she end up marrying?
She ended up marrying this
Big
real
Bob.
jerk.
Big Bob. Big Bob.
That's right. She married Big Bob, who stands about 5'1", and is a
Yeah,
son
that's
of
the
a
irony.
bitch. Right.
I was
Well,
little
it's one of
Barnabas,
those.
but as a kid, I was like 6 feet
You're a
tall.
giant.
Yes, exactly.
But Big Bob, 5'1", 420. How does she deal with that?
How did she deal with it?
She has to be on top, I would imagine.
Oh, geez, guys, I don't want to think about it.
Really?
But
You've
anyway-
never thought about it? You've never, just peeked in the room?
Peeked in the room and watched my daughter fuck her husband?
Yes, Big
Have
Bob.
I ever done that?
Who's 5'1", 420.
1 and 420?
Just out of curiosity.
If he was 5'5" and 350, I probably would have at some point. But 5'1" and 420? No, thank you. I don't want to see it. Forget about it. And my daughter is beautiful. I would love to. I'd watch her. I'd watch her fuck almost anyone.
Except
But
for
not
Big
Big
Bob.
Not Big Bob. That's what I told her. That's what I said at her wedding. I said, look at this guy. I would watch my daughter fuck almost anybody but him.
This was in the toast.
That was my toast. I says, what a mistake you've made. Look at you, you're beautiful. What a can. What a set of jugs on you. And look at this guy.
You created those jugs.
Sure I did. I had a hand
Ben.
in those jugs. This is a terrible song.
I like it.
Making way, comedy death threat plug. Plug, 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 plug. Comedy death threat plug. Comedy death threat plug.
what's interesting about the song is it started out with "Making Your Way in the World Today." I thought it was like Mary Tyler Moore or something.
No, I think it's the Cheer. I think the
Cheers,
Cheers theme
yeah,
song.
yeah.
They might have a serious problem with it.
This is a person who is severely depressed. the lack of effort.
You
that
know
went
the
into this.
signs.
Yes.
You work as a counselor sometimes with.
I volunteer sometimes with Francisco.
underneath
He
the
and I do some
bridges.
volunteer
You
work.
do that underneath the bridges,
Well,
right?
you never know who you're going to find down there.
Ben, what do you have to plug?
Well, Ashley Pinto's Suite 16 at
Well,
the Marriott
yeah.
in Old Town Pasadena. It's happening.
So hold on, Big Bob's last name is Pinto.
That's right, Bob Pinto. And that is happening Saturday, 4 o'clock on the dot. You're not, it's a guest list, and so the people hearing this are not invited. But come on down.
But maybe some of the listeners
well,
might
you
be
just
invited.
like
Sure.
he likes hallway activity. So if
True.
there's a hallway near the room where you're playing, you just
Right.
like that there's a bustle.
Yeah.
You're a
Wouldn't it be
you're a
exciting?
big fan of bustle.
Sure I am. To have people peeking their heads in from the hallway watching the set. would
Much
be
the same
Because
way
you know one of the most bustling areas in town,
Yeah, Boner Plaza.
Boner Avenue and Boner Plaza,
Yeah.
just leading up to there.
a lot of people.
You would
over there.
love people just to be peeking in, much like how you would love to be peeking in there on Crystal,
And-
if only.
With
if
Big
Bob
Bob,
could lose
Just
a little
bit of
weight.
weight. Yeah,
Just a little bit of weight.
If he does lose weight, will you promise to peek in on them having sex
And
with
let
each
us
other?
to give us a report.
You
I'm
know
not saying
what?
us because I'm going to be here when you do
Yes.
that.
I'll tell you what, if that could spur him to lose weight, I would tell him in a heartbeat. Because he needs to lose it. I'd say, you know what, I will say that to him on Saturday.
Yes.
I'll say, look, drop.
You're sure he's not listening?
I'll say, if you're listening, Bob, drop 100 pounds, and I will watch you and Crystal make love.
I'd say do that in the middle of your act. Just
Okay.
like say, okay, enough with the jokes here for a second. I'm going to make
Yeah.
an announcement.
No, I disagree. I think
really?
that's your closer.
Oh, God. See,
That's
this
fine.
is what 27 years experience gets
That's
you,
correct.
you
That's your
know?
closer.
All right.
All right. I don't know what the fuck else I'm
Oh,
doing.
no. The Boner Avenue Street Fair. Don't they have you
Oh!
playing harmonica?
They do. I have to.
You
and
play harmonica to the people walking in rhythm.
It's a bitch because I don't have one of those harmonica holders, so
Yes,
I
if you
need
give
to
your
hire an
hands up,
assistant.
I'll hold it for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have to move my head because obviously the assistant doesn't know how to move it. in order
Right.
for
So you
me
have to move your head.
How much does that pay? What are the hours?
No. Well, hold on.
Will
So
you
you're
do it? To hold the
volunteering.
microphone?
You're volunteering.
Well, it depends.
Maybe
You
you
know.
could you get your friend to do that?
Yeah, that's right.
Who's that, Francisco?
Yeah.
You don't want him. He is reliably unreliable, is the way to put it. I'm telling you, he's got a disease in his brain and he can't keep track of anything. He really can't. It's tragic.
All right. Well, that's
But
it for
boy,
today.
He gives great blowjobs.
I want to thank all my guests. Jeff Garlin, thank you so much for being here.
As
It's
they say
a
in
true
Sweden,
pleasure.
my pleasure.
And I want to thank Ben Alterman. I want to thank Ice-T was here a little earlier. I want to thank Ben Stiller and also our friends Paul F. Tompkins and Andrew Daly. And we'll have a great show next week. That's it for this one.